It's Ash from Super Videos, back for another video for The Last of Us on HBO. On this video, we're going to be taking a look at some brand new behind the scenes photos and even a footage from filming that's leading me to think that they are possibly filming for the final part of the first game, which is interesting, which means that they're actually going to fit in the entirety of part 1 of the video game into the first season, which is definitely unexpected. I personally thought that they're gonna have the first 2 seasons before part 1, but it doesn't appear that that's what they're doing, which is definitely concerning because that's a lot of story to fit into 1 season. So I hope that they don't rush it, that's all I'm saying. But there's definitely a lot of teases that they are filming for the final part of the story. For part 1, they are filming inside a tunnel, a pretty major tunnel, and there's a possibility that that could be the same tunnel that Joel and Ellie have to go through to get to the St. Mary's Hospital. So stay tuned, we'll be right back to break this down. Alright, as always, before we jump into this, smash that like button, subscribe to join our community, and press the bell to be notified when I upload on the channel. With that said, let's waste no more time and dive right in. This is actually the tunnel that they blocked off for filming. This tunnel is actually close to the airport in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. For those of you that haven't followed the channel and may not know, I actually live in Calgary. I've actually been able to visit set a few times in the past and take some photos and some behind the scenes footage. So if you're interested in that, definitely go and check it out. All of that should be available on the channel. But when it comes to this tunnel that they're filming inside of, there is a possibility that it's the same tunnel that Joel and Ellie have to go through to get to the St. Mary's Hospital, where the Fireflies are waiting for them. Before we dive deeper into that, this is the tunnel that they're filming inside of, so it's a pretty major tunnel near the airport. There's a lot of room inside of it where they can put a lot of props and make it look more apocalyptic. But when it comes to the tunnel and the possibility that it is the same tunnel from the end of part 1, obviously Joel and Ellie go through the tunnel, they get to the St. Mary's Hospital, and that's where the Fireflies are waiting for them, and that's where they do that surgery on Ellie, or try to do that surgery on Ellie. This is a pretty big moment from not only part 1 but also part 2. So I wonder if they're going to do this so that they could bring aspects of part 2 as well into the story for the TV adaptation and expand the story. One other thing I do want to mention, obviously there's other instances in the game where Joel and Ellie go through a tunnel, so it's not the only time. So there's a possibility that this tunnel that they've blocked off is to film for another scene, but I have a feeling that that's not the case. I have a feeling that they're actually gonna film that final chapter or part from the end of the first game. But I could obviously be wrong about that. So with that said, I do want you to take a quick look at some footage as well. Now, I didn't capture this footage, it's just some random driver filming as they're going through the tunnel, but as we can see, there's actually a bus there, which is very similar to the bus that we saw in the screen cap of the game that I showed. There's production crew there and everything like that, so there's a lot of things going on, but we don't see behind the wall here. So there's a possibility that there's some hints and clues about whether they are actually filming that final chapter of the game. But there's a lot of pieces that match. But obviously we're gonna have to wait and see whether that ends up happening. The only reason I'm concerned about that is because that's a lot of story to fit into 1 season. So I hope they don't rush things. That's all I care about. I don't want them to rush things. I want them to let the stories breathe, let them have the time that they need. The last thing I want, and I'm sure many fans want, is for them to rush through a lot of story just to get to part 2, because then we're missing a lot of great stories and moments from part 1, which many fans like a lot more than part 2. But with that said, that's pretty much everything I wanted to go through in this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, smash that like button, subscribe to join our community, and press the bell to be notified when I upload on the channel. That's it for this video. See you next time for another super video.